Where do all these strains originate from? That's what I want to know.
And if you train your mind well enough, you can learn to pick up on these things that are going to happen or that have already happened.
Mm-hmm. Right? What if time's like a net? What's holding all of the molecules in this world? Even air is made up
Theory,
of molecules.
I believe that as long as we're taking in information and learning, we're all creating what's called time.
Welcome, one and all, to the Beni Hour. You know, the Beni Hour. We're missing young Benatar. He will be missed today. But, Calvin's coming in a little bit. Before I get to this guy over here, this awesome guy over here, 67% of our views are non-subscribers. So subscribe and smash that like button. Hey. All right. Got that one out of the way. Good shit. It was like a fucking infomercial.
Dude.
Right though? Hey, that's perfect. Run it. But hey, now that Elevate Studios infomercial is done with y'all now, we can continue the show. Let's get it going now. All right. So we got a guest tonight. Like I said, Calvin will be here. Everyone knows Calvin. We got him coming in, like 25 minutes, 20 minutes? Something like that.
20.
Sorry. Just before I have allergies, so if I sound like a stuffed up, nice little guy, I have some allergies, so rough day. Shout out Claritin D. Shouts out. Big shouts out, because that shit, oh man. I was driving today, Papa Producer, just like eyes tearing up, just sneezing every 2 seconds, just like...
100%.
Fucking half alive, bro. Just like
there was a time at work today. Bro. There was a time at work today where I couldn't see out of my eyes.
I couldn't imagine doing like lawn stuff with my fucking allergies, bro. Thank you for your service, bro.
Thank you.
That's
why I do it.
That's what's up.
For the
right?
thanks.
Well, hey, thank you for Poppy Producer service, but we're gonna thank you for another service and a service in the game. I know you know the name if you're around the Beni frame, frame of the house, of the family, of the Beni. Bryce, the governor.
What's up? What's up, everyone?
He's here. He is in the front seat, not the rearview mirror, so we got him in the house. This is, it's a special one.
What does that even mean?
What? We got him in the front and not the rearview mirror?
Yeah.
What do you think it means? It's pretty self-explanatory.
I mean, it's like you see a future with growing your friendship.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we the homies, but
Got it.
I'm saying I don't know. That kind of doesn't make sense to me now anymore.
But I like
I
it.
thought it made sense to me, but now it doesn't in the retrospect of things. But you know what? I liked it too.
I liked it a lot.
As long as you liked it.
It was smooth.
Dude, it doesn't
You
even
like
have
it?
to mean
Yeah.
anything.
It was smooth.
You're sitting in the front, not the rear view mirror,
Mhm.
right? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It's like
doesn't
you
even
didn't
mean-
have to come tonight. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
didn't have to come tonight, right? No one has to take any chances or opportunities or even just like hanging out with the homies or anything like that. But you chose to come tonight, so it's like for some reason the life said, and not to make us like the only front seat in the world here. We're just like the main fucking drivers. No, but you know what I'm saying?
Well, to our reality. We're the whole show.
Oh, we'll get into that. We are the whole show, right? Oh, crazy. We got some shit to get into. If you like some crazy talk, if you like... Oh, we'll get into it. Don't you even worry about it. But hey, like I said, it's the Beni Hour. But all right, let's start it off, right? So, Bryce, give us a little bit about yourself, man. Where are you from? What you doing? I know a little bit about you, but just for the people who watch...
Yeah, I'll give you a little
overview of the life of Bryce, the governor.
Yeah. All right, so
quick fun fact: your name is Bryce, the time traveler, in my phone.
the time, yes, dude.
I'm God, bro. I'm God. I'm God. But all right, I thought that was funny. So,
cool.
To you, my
all right,
brother. Tell us about yourself.
I'm the middle son of 2 other brothers, a family of 5. People kind of say that my family is like the Hallmark family because we're I don't know, there's something about my family that everybody just gets along with. Everyone loves my dad. Everyone loves my mom. We didn't really have a lot of issues growing up, and for that, I'm very grateful. We all have our shit in our family, but I had very little to worry about in that matter. I grew up in Jenison, Michigan, a very small town in Michigan. It was actually in the Guinness World Record books for having the most churches within a square mile.
What?
Jenison?
I believe
Yeah,
it.
dude. Yeah.
Really?
So it is very,
Really?
yes.
No
yeah.
way. I
In
did
the
not know
world?
that.
I believe so.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe so.
Whoa.
I did not know that. Wow.
Crazy.
Shout out Jenison.
Yeah, something.
I mean, ooh, yeah.
Well, yeah. So like within the bubble, I always grew up thinking that weed was like next to all the bad drugs. You know, I grew up with I wasn't ever a part of one friend group in high school. I kind of like meandered and was friends with everybody. I had a couple really good friends, but a couple of the friend groups that I was a part of mostly started smoking weed, and I was like, I started to get curious about things within high school and realize that, oh shit, there's something that this helps me with. Like, it's not like just something people get fucked up with. Like, there's a value with using it. And throughout college, of course.
Where'd you go to college?
Started off at Grand Rapids Community College to save money because I had to pay for college myself.
Shouts out college.
Yeah, dude. Pay
Pay
the money for the paper. What does the paper mean?
Right.
Anyway, I went to Ferris State after GRCC and got a degree in ethnobotany.
Okay.
And during my time at Ferris State, my wife now convinced me that, why are you trying to get the paper and the paper meaning the degree and do something that you don't really want to do? Why don't you just create your own business and do cannabis like you've known and loved your whole life? I worked at a cannabis facility ever since I was 18, kind of doing bitch work, like mixing newts, spraying, all that and in between. I left that place because I tried to give, like, not pointers, but, like, I tried to, like,
Or you're trying to uplift the company, bro.
yeah, try to give them better ways of maintaining the garden, or so I thought it was better, because they're the way that they were, or the stuff they were using to spray on the plants, and it didn't meet my, I guess you could say, quality control. I started to feel bad about the plants I was actually tending to, because we were then selling these to medical patients that need it for actual medical reasons. This isn't recreational. It wasn't like it was a game. So I morally couldn't do that anymore. So I left that facility and made my own seed company, the Grass Menagerie. I started with a seed company because I didn't think it was very realistic for people to be buying packs for like $100-$200 for 10 seeds.
Yeah, right.
I think everybody should be able to grow if they want. In fact, I think that they should have access to whatever strain they want. I don't think that money should really be the barrier to that. If that's what they need, I think that they should be able to have access to it. So my goal was to basically break that game, sell packs for $20-$30, give away for charity, give away for veterans, whatever reason I could give it away to somebody, I would.
Yeah.
And
Creating that good karma.
yeah, what you put out comes back into you. And
Facts.
and that's where I've been. That's where I've
Mastering the craft.
yeah, honing it in, doing basically just what I really like. I kind of got sucked in for a few years there trying to figure out what the market likes. And it really turned into a job for me at that point. And I told myself, you know what? We're going to just keep doing what you like.
Right.
And sure enough, it doesn't feel quite as much like a chore at that point.
I feel you. So you out here crossbreeding, you out here making your own seeds, your own strains.
Yeah, genetics is what I nerd out in, you know.
So how did you get into genetics? Like, what was the catalyst? Because, like, me, it was like, I'm more like that sales guy, right? Like, I know what people like. I know what's good. I know what's not good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
I know I'm a people person, you know. So, like, what got you into that, like, genetics? Wanting to be like, you know what? Fuck the bud. I want to do some seeds. I want to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, this is perfect. While I was working at that facility, I had access, or I had the experience of seeing a lot of different strains come through that facility.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And with that, I remember one particular time opening up my first bag of strawberry cough and realizing, oh my God.
Shout out that strawberry terps. Who's ever had that strawberry Gary? Can I get a 1, 2?
Oh, I still have a little bit of that. It's tucked away.
Sheesh, homie going crazy. Okay, sorry. Go on with the strawberry cough. That strawberry, bro.
First time I opened up that bag of strawberry cough, I thought to myself, holy shit. Cannabis doesn't have to smell like cannabis.
No.
It can smell like a bag of fruits.
It'll still retain that little smell that, you know, you can tell, but it smells fucking crazy.
Yeah. Right? And so it was the first point in my life where I'm like, I need to seek more of whatever this is. We all get the gas, we all get the skunk, or at least where I was from, we all got that. Yeah. Gorilla Glue 4 was huge when I started getting into collecting genetics. It just flooded the market.
You remember the glues producer?
Oh, yeah.
Gorilla Glue.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? There was like Gorilla Glue, Animal Mints. What was another? Trainwreck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Trainwreck got
Northern Lights. Everyone had Northern Lights. My goodness. God damn. I smoked more Northern Lights than too many. God damn.
So, I sought out I wanted to find different strains that didn't smell like weed. And from then on, I started to get nitpicky with the smells and the tastes and I could find out the subtleties. I got really nerdy into that.
Trained your brain.
Yeah, dude.
Senses.
Uh-huh. That's essentially what got me into wanting to do genetics. And I realized that another, I guess, contributing factor was I saw what was going on with regulation and how cookies was getting big and how a couple larger companies were starting to corner the game. And being the nerd that I am, I started digging into, what strains are they popping? What are they using? Like, I was genuinely curious. And from what I found, it seemed to be that the large majority of what's being sold is very bottlenecked. So, like, what America is getting is a very small sliver of the spectrum.
Of everything that's out there?
Of everything and that's just because the larger corporations that have taken over have gone so deeply into what they have, what they like. Yeah. And the consumer doesn't realize that there's a whole nother world of flavors out there.
Well, they probably don't want to release all these flavors either right away, too. You know, it's like an iPhone. You don't want to release the iPhone 8 before you release the iPhone 1.
Yeah.
You know, like.
So, I mean, but where I guess I'm going is, do you think Cookies is messing around with, like, Indian land races or like Laotian, like exotic land races and adding that to their gene pool? I would guess not, but
I would assume so.
Maybe they might be in the background.
If I had, and this is just me, if I had that kind of money, And if I was just fucking, if I'm Burner and I'm running this company, right, I'm like, okay, we have the best weed. We better keep it the best weed. I'm going to have people going out and be like strain hunters. But not no strain hunters who are just growing the shit. I'm talking about like you go in the damn jungle and you find me a damn weed plant that's growing off the side of a fucking tree.
Absolutely.
And I want that. That's what I want. Bring that back to me and you get paid very well. That kind of strain hunter. Some Steve Irwin stuff, you know, like... Get in there, you know. Find me some weed.
Amen.
You think are they doing that shit?
Do I think they're doing that? No, I don't personally think they are doing that. I do think that they're doing right by the community. I've heard. Now this is just what I've heard. I don't know for certain, but I've heard that Cookies and Burner are going into local areas and sifting small craft growers and giving them a chance at. Producing at scale their strain because some small craft growers just don't have
the money behind it. Really.
The money, the advertisement, the networking to make their stuff blow up, and it rightfully is good enough to blow up.
Yeah.
And so I do believe he's going into the communities, and this is within America that he's sifting. He's like, oh, you got something special. Let's work with you. Let's do something. But I don't know that it would be. It just doesn't seem like a move of his to go elsewhere and be like, yo, let's do work here.
Right.
And like I said,
there's like this. I could see him doing like some searching, but like I don't see him really.
With time, I bet he will.
Especially with all the laws about like we're so much further ahead in the weed game than a lot of the world.
Are we?
Yeah.
You think
there's
so?
other like Canada's really far ahead of the weed game. Obviously Amsterdam, but what other countries besides? Isn't it Portugal, Amsterdam? Is technically
Thailand?
Technically, it's only decriminalized in Amsterdam, though, right? Or is it? Can you look that up, Poppy Producer? Is it fucking decriminalized in Amsterdam, or is it fully legal in Amsterdam yet?
What?
Can we look up all of the countries that weed is basically legal in? And then I want to know if Amsterdam's legal or decriminalized. Because I think they're just decriminalized.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one.
I could be wrong, though. But right beside, like, there's places where it's fully legal here. Like, we got legal facilities running. There's other countries, they don't got that type of shit. You know, like,
no, I agree with that.
So it's like,
I agree
we're kind
with that
of, you know.
on that level. But I guess where I'm going is, if we aren't careful, I think we're going to corner our market into some dangerous places.
Bro, the weed's not even going to look like weed. People are going to cross it and 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 cross it so many times. It's going to, like, we're going to, like, lose original things, you know?
And that's what
lose the original strains and shit. I'm sure people got some other plants here and there, and that must, I mean, I guess, it'll be like a Picasso painting. That shit is going to be rare.
It's interesting to say that, because now with prohibition kind of coming to an end, there's never been a better time to collect and save things. So maybe we won't lose as many strains.
True.
Maybe, you know what I mean? Because I think that we've lost so many strains because of prohibition. Because, I don't want that stinky strain. I can't have the stinky stank in my pocket or I go to jail if you smell it on me. I want the stuff that you can't smell on me. Yeah, you know? Like, that's how they used to
Something
select.
That smells different. So what do we got here? So this is the countries weed is legal in of 2023. U.S., Canada, Uruguay, Mexico. Damn, really? Widespread tolerance across Europe.
Germany is the latest European country to pass laws.
Okay. Oh, so it's wrecking Germany. All right, it's wrecking Germany. Spain allows its citizens to grow cannabis at home. However, it is still not. Where'd that go? However, it's still not permitted to sell weed or consume it in public space. So Portugal's decriminalized. Damn. So there's still a lot of places, but basically it seems like we're pretty much on the tippity top there with Canada, and you know. Well.
Also, if you're curious, Baldwin Avenue is listed as having the highest concentration of churches per churches per via.
Baldwin Avenue. I lived on
No way.
right off of Baldwin.
In the world.
Yep.
There you go. Just
wow.
peace of mind.
Yep. Cool.
Wow.
I'm not just spitting.
Wow.
Out my butt.
Is that really it? That's all the countries that it's legal in?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be more for some reason.
Yeah.
People hate weed, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. People hate weed.
People are really weird about weed, bro. Governments hate weed. Governments hate weed. Why do you think governments hate weed?
Okay, I just went over my little spiel here. Is America's ran, in my opinion, this is all my opinion.
Right. We're spitting opinions here.
Yeah. America is largely funded and ran by pharmacies, like pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
And let's say he was talking about how he mostly just eats weed now instead of smokes it. And I said, well, yeah, I was just talking about how we can't be kidding ourselves that smoking is not harming our lungs. I mean, it's not supposed to be in your lungs. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So I guess the key would be to somehow be able to ingest all of those cannabinoids that you get while smoking, but in a laid out manner. Well, how would you do that? Like throughout time, you would have to legalize hemp, like on a large scale, which you'd have to start feeding your cows the hemp instead of the corn. What happens then is in the beef is that whole spectrum of cannabinoids, and the people will eat the beef. It's not like the people are going to be high from eating the beef. It's so minimal throughout, but it's enough to activate within the immune system. And America don't want that.
Can cows eat hemp?
I believe it can be used as a food source. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like it could be a paper source, oil, gas source, oil source. So many uses for it, right? But you think?
I think it can be used like how corn is hacked down and they feed it to the cows. I believe you can do that with hemp.
Right.
And that's no good for America because then all the people are healthy.
Yeah.
Well, then they don't have any customers.
Yeah.
Because all the people are healthy.
We're really neglecting those cannabinoid systems that we all have. Everyone in the world has a cannabinoid system in their body that recepts all of those cannabinoids that are from weed. Right?
Yep, and it helps your immune system. And if you don't have that, part of your immune system is essentially lacking.
Yeah. You're not getting, it's like, what is it? It's like working out. If you work out, you're helping your body. It's like not working out your immune system. Not saying smoking is like best for you, but like you said, if there's a way to take it, it's like you're just not helping your immune system. It's not even like a steroid. What would it be? It's like a probiotic.
Yes,
a vitamin.
Yes, exactly.
A really good vitamin for your immune system. And it's crazy, dude. There goes the paper companies. There goes the pharmaceutical companies. Weed could change the world.
Fuel,
And people
so many things.
Oh, look at you stoners saying weed could change the world. Look what it's already doing. And they haven't even federally lifted it. So there's still technically no federal, because it's a Schedule 1. So technically, I'm sure they've done plenty of research on it. But technically you can't like research it.
Yeah.
You can't you can't colleges can't research it, stuff like that can't research it. So there might be, some certain special circumstances here and there, but
yeah.
Federally you can't research a Schedule 1 drug, right? Or like something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean nobody wants to try to get the okay to do so. I mean that's just
dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, I think that was a door.
Calvin?
I think so. Where do all these strains originate from? That's what I want to know. Can you tell me that? What was the first, is it like some Adam and Eve shit? And it's like...
Weed in general?
Yeah, like, get on here. Get over. Oh, you got your mic. Thank God. Oh, good shit.
Yeah, I'm still on. I don't look presentable.
Oh, good. You're good. Okay, so, Yeah, like what's the first weed? Like where did all of these genetics come from?
I mean, there's traces of it in like ancient Chinese culture. Like,
okay, but besides that, right? So did the ancient Chinese culture go like, okay, we don't like the gassy weed. We're going to come over here and put the strawberry by the weed. We're going to put the strawberry by the weed.
Like when
and we're
they
going to make it the strawberry cough. And they're like, fuck it, hell yeah, we funded the strawberry cough, yes.
So
when people actually put effort into breeding the genetics, not just like discovering it.
But technically, that's just some OG Kush that was grown by strawberries or something that, right? So like, does that technically make it OG Kush, or what does it make it, right? Like,
I would say
where did they all come from?
I would say in regards to strain, I think if you look back, it actually falls closer to like Central American, like Latin America, because they were more ritualistic in like how they used it. Like that, like cybacillin, like they used a bunch of different stuff ritualistically. So they would grow it different ways for different purposes. So then, like, you look at ancient Chinese culture, they would use it for
right. So if
medicinal.
they grew it different ways, are they still growing the same strain?
I think that geographically in the world, you're going to
change the strain.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, in China, they may have had more like Hindu influence or like Kali mist, whereas Africa, they might have the Durban or like
So if I put a strain in the ground of Africa, it's going to come out kind of like Durban-y, because that's just like what Africa
Well, it's also
grows.
dependent on what genetic you put in there.
But where did that genetic come from? Where did that original...
But that's what you're talking... That's it from... It came from everywhere. So, like, I mean, weed used to grow just in...
So, okay, exactly. So, like...
You're talking about, like, where did, like, blueberry kush come from? Did somebody grow it next to...
I got it. I'm a little bugged up, sorry. But like you said, Africa's might have the Durban, or, you know, Asia might have the like an Asian... I don't know.
Hindu Kush.
Hindu, thank you. I was drawing a blank. It's like, okay, so what... Was India's first weed Hindu Kush?
Well, India
Africa's
too might
first
have
weed
their
Durban poison.
Yeah,
what was that? What was that first? You know what I'm saying? Where did all? There's so many strains, bro. Like you go online, you can buy any strain you want. Basically, there's hundreds.
Now, how many of those? Like, okay, honestly, that would be a great.
How many of them are legit? Like
that would be a great. I should do that for Green Bud Guru, man. Where I do a YouTube series where we take 100 seeds and we grow them next to each other, and then we smoke them next to each other and see what the taste difference are.
Like would they be legit?
You know what I mean? To see if they're actually legitly different. That would be.
Or
sick.
is it just Is it just how the plant grows? It's obviously not how the plant grows. Genetics is 1,000%. That's 80% of the game right there.
Yeah,
you know.
I think
good genetics, 80% of the game. In my opinion, what do you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think, like I said, I mean, I try to make seeds that you can just toss in the ground, forget about them, and then at the end of the season, you have fire buds.
Yep.
Like outdoors at least. Like, yeah, and then that. Yeah, with that thought, genetics matters. You can't do that with all genetics.
Well, since we can't find the original strains, or we don't know the original strains, I'm sure we could figure it out, but we're not doing that. What's your favorite strain that you have bred yourself?
Oh, shit.
I've seen a lot. I've seen a few, so I'm kind of curious at this answer right here.
So, for breeding-wise, my favorite's the Remington Rot.
Okay.
Just because it adds so much to everything it hits. But it keeps the smell component of the mother. So, like... I don't know. That's just my all-around, like, oh, you got something? Let me hit it with my Remington Rot, and you'll get something better. Yeah. That's normally what I can generalize with my Remington Rot. But
so that's like a good. It's like a good genetic to like breed with.
Yeah, it's great breeding stock, and even in today's market, I mean, it's very Chem D dominant. It has like a more
Chem
pistachio.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, dude, I like that old school.
Speaking of throwbacks, I was gonna like lemon sour diesel is by hands the easiest to grow. It is the most tolerant. It's so nice, and I have not seen it on the market in forever. We should bring it back.
Or remember like Super Silver Haze or Super
all the hazes, lemon hazes, Liberty Haze,
Super Lemon Haze for sure.
Lemon Haze Skunk, like.
Because they have longer flower times.
A lot of the lemon terpenes aren't. You don't really see much of the lemon terpenes.
Dude, they tasted
anymore,
so good. What happened to it?
Yeah, right. Though you really don't see that.
But like
much anymore,
that's why you think like, okay, did we really gain different, phenotypes of bud, or
just evolving? Everything's just evolving.
Or did we just rename something? Maybe
Yeah.
somebody maybe a jar got mixed up, some seeds
with
got
hash.
labeled
It's
wrong.
with hash. It's so crazy because like you can really taste the difference. Like the papaya tastes like papaya. Like I had the one called Citrus Palisade for Moonlight Melts. Shouts out Moonlight Melts. Fucking some of the best hash in Michigan, hands down. And they had one called Citrus Palisade. That shit tastes like straight citrus. Like, the guava. I'm like, what? It all tastes so different. That's why I like them so much, because each one of their
Guava's
flavors
a tropical
actually
fruit
has a
from a
unique
tropical
flavor.
region.
Huh? Say that again.
Guava's a tropical fruit.
Oh, yes, for a tropical reason.
For a
Sorry to
tropical
interrupt.
reason.
I had to throw that one.
Oh, I
back.
know. You mean the fruit that's growing in the tropics?
That was like our
Guava?
third episode. Remember that?
Shouts out. But no, that's what I'm saying. Moonlight, Moonlight. Every single one of their jars tastes different. And it's unique, and it doesn't all taste the same, So shouts out them. But yeah, it's like, bro, that's what I want to know. What was the first flavor of weed? Right?
It depends what culture you ask.
I think it was
Just
6.
like with religion. It's like,
Yeah, what was the first fucking religion?
Well, and you,
You
got
know
to think
what I
about it
mean?
like now,
It's
like
like
fruits. Like fruits are way sweeter than they used to be because we bred them that way. So like you got to imagine that weed used to grow rampant.
Fucking weed back in the day. The Egyptians are just like stogies
Yeah.
from hell, just like
For real though, it was like an incense for them. But like no joke, like rudimentus. Is that rudimentus? Rudialis, thank you.
Wait, widow?
Rudimentary is what I was thinking, and that's just not the correct phrase. But yeah, Rudialis is like one of the first strains because it's like a non-super psychoactive strain, right? If I'm correct.
I was just gonna say I didn't want to throw it out there, but that because it'd be a shot in the dark. But I'd argue the first strain was probably a Rudialis strain.
Which is what you would find like all over the Midwest. Like it used to grow rampant, and then people saw it on the streets, and then like the whole association with marijuana, and then like the Mexican immigration, like in early America, like 1930s, 1960s, like, and they associated black people with like cannabis and whatnot, and then they would see those plants out in the street because it literally would grow.
That's why
on
they
the
called
side
it
of the street.
marijuana,
Right.
so it sounded like a Mexican word.
Even though it was
Ridiculous.
Rudialis
Absolutely
cannabis.
ridiculous.
Interesting. I didn't know all that.
No, yeah, it's a whole propaganda
Yeah,
thing. And
it's the. That,
they
I mean, that's
basically the oil companies paid for it, and the paper companies paid for it all. They basically, it was all based on the paper and oil companies' push to get cannabis illegal, because
Oh my god!
Exactly,
That was
though.
so loud.
that scared me. a little bit.
exactly though, and then because think of it, if cannabis would be legal, then they could make oil, they could make houses.
Yeah,
they could
but then
make
who
bricks,
is
could
they?
make-
Who is they? Because it's not the they that's in charge right now.
Bro, it's the time travelers, bro.
Yes, dude, the time travelers.
It's the time travelers,
us.
bro.
That's us. We're the
It's
they.
the time travelers, bro. We're the they. As long as we can shift ourselves there, into that dimension of time, right?
Yeah.
Just gotta shift it. It's a. You have to like meditate on it, but you'll shift there. You'll get there. Right then,
Remote view it.
Calvin,
What?
do you believe in time travel?
Here we go.
Forward or backward?
Either or.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in the dissonance of time based on gravity.
Yeah.
What does
So,
that
like-
mean?
What do you think about? What do you think about time,
a
Bryce?
dissonant. Oh, God.
Sorry, no. What's
No,
a
go ahead.
dissonance? No, I want to know what a
Okay,
dissonance
so a
is.
dissonance is like something that's close, but not like it's like separating. So like when you have a dissonance in music, it's like two notes that are separating.
They're close, but you can hear the difference.
Correct. So like a dissonance based on gravity would mean that like based on how much gravity is around you, your time would be affected. Like have you ever seen Interstellar?
Yeah.
If you watch that movie, it would make a little bit more sense. I mean, I'm not saying that movie's 100%
That's such a good
scientifically
movie,
Would
though.
that be
accurate.
like saying you're moving into a less dense or more dense area.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So what do you define? What do you think about time traveling?
Well, what do I think about time?
Just time, yeah.
Yeah, time travel. I think that it all has already happened. I think everything that has ever happened, ever will happen, has already happened. And you can step outside of that. And if you train your mind well enough, you can learn to pick up on these things that are going to happen or that have already happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it's all happened already. And the only thing that's creating simultaneously the past and the future is the now moment.
Yeah, it's really hard to split off of that now moment.
Yeah, it's
because like then where does the future go from that now moment? Is it the future that you are going to with the time travel, or does the future still continue and you just go off on a tangent, and then is that affected by whatever you change?
Yeah,
or does that future even still exist?
So how do you think someone would, in a rudimentary way, explaining to like a viewer, how would someone step outside of that realm of space?
Okay, well,
in your opinion,
yeah, to get
because in
into
my
that,
mind, I would think meditation. I would think like
okay,
getting your mind right, your soul, your spirit, your body right, all that shit right.
You're on the right track. Yeah, so it depends on what ideology you want to follow here, but you have to stay within the ideology. For instance,
maybe like you mean like certain times, right? Like there's certain times to meditate or something, like because like you said, how we're moving through a less dense space. Maybe it's like time to meditate because we're moving through a less dense space. And we can.
Yeah. No. I think though, like, for instance, to explain to somebody, you have to kind of build kind of like a vocabulary that you both understand first. So like, for instance, there is the Stargate experience laid out in the CIA documents that were released. If you go and look at the CIA documents of the Stargate experience, they're just laying out the scientific methodology.
Is that like the Kundalini stuff?
Yeah, it's basically it's basically that. It's like being able to train yourself to step outside of time and then view it all and pick up on certain subtleties. And
dude, like I started doing like the hemisphere synchronization thing with the two tones playing in your ear.
Yes, dude.
And like meditating, and I had like my first out of body experience.
It's a wild thing, nuts. Dude. Get your brain into that.
Because it works.
Delta or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
Delta brainwave.
Dude,
yeah, dude.
Wild things start to happen.
And I stopped doing it. I don't know why. I should go back into it.
Yeah.
I think the deeper question here is, what is time? No, realistically, is it just a human construct?
Oh.
Like I know that like Einstein and like all these people have tried to put like specific quantifiable metrics to it, but they can't. I mean, they do. We put what we describe it. It's the same thing as us putting the word God, like people putting the word God in the Bible. Do we really know what it is? No, that's the word that we put for it.
I feel like there's always a word to it. It's just we all, as a collective, understand like what time is. It's just like what word do you want to use for it?
But it's the only force.
You feel me though?
But it's the only of the three forces. It's the only one you can't see. You can see light.
You can technically see time.
So
how?
You just moved. You didn't pick up your phone 2 seconds ago. I just saw you move, and I know for a fact in my mind that you did not pick that.
But where did the metric 2 seconds come from?
I'm just I'm calling that the distance you had to travel and whatever you can call traveling to grab your phone. You weren't doing that.
That's physics, yeah.
At the beginning, and you did it just now, and then you came back to the center space. So it's like I saw you move.
Yeah.
It took energy.
But what is seeing? Light reflecting. So all you're doing is seeing
and
light.
You using energy and like creating space. You know what I mean? So there's like a lot of things that you can see from it. So it's like, what is time?
Well, okay, so
is time movement?
What is light? Like, okay, so light is like a way of transferring data. There's information within light, and when it hits something, it vibrates, and everything has a vibration, and you measure vibration in hertz. If something goes above a certain point of hertz, it spills off into time or seconds. And with that theory, I believe that as long as we're taking in information and learning, we're all creating what's called time, or the experience. And we're within this bubble of experience or time that we're all creating because we're taking in information. So it's this ever-growing kind of bubble of something we can't see because it's spillover into something we can't comprehend. Well, we are comprehending it because we're experiencing it. But
Right.
it's
like you feel it.
It's
but
a
you don't-
measurement. It is
faith, yeah.
But it's the spill off of, so like there's in the
So it's like saying if you're like say you have speakers in the back of your car, right? And those speakers are so loud that spill off breaks your windows. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
I mean that's
And then that
just
creates
like
time?
vibrating glass at a different frequency.
So
That's
what if the frequencies were perfect every time? Would there be no time?
For there to be no time, there couldn't be time to begin with.
Right.
So
So time technically had to start somewhere. Technically. Had to something
started at the creation
something had to do this with time.
yeah, something.
Something. Or else
I
there'd be
guess
no
you're
time, right?
Technically,
The
time,
bang.
Technically.
time would be movement in at that case,
Yeah.
because technically time wouldn't exist until the first thing moved, because you wouldn't be able to measure a distance.
That's a fucking
time is
that's
distance.
a good little
Well, and that goes back to
epiphany right
Interstellar. So, like, what do you consider time travel? Is time travel the ability to slow down aging while everyone else continues to age? Like, is that considered time travel? So if you're able to get up to 99.9% of the speed of light and you travel as far away from Earth as you can, and then once you get to a certain point, you flip around and turn back, you're going to be roughly the same age that you were.
Yeah.
And everyone else on Earth is going to be 40 to 50 years older.
Yeah.
So
Well,
is
get
that
up here,
considered
bro.
time travel? Is that considered time travel, or did you just utilize physics? Because if you utilize physics, then time travel already exists. But we just don't have the means of actually reaching those speeds yet,
Yeah.
because we're sub
Or do you think it's
whatever,
like how
one
Marvel
civilization.
does it, where it's like quantum? You have to like shrink to the like smallest quantum or something like that, and you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, like shrinking to that size makes you fly through time, and you can like, it's almost like a ant hole. I don't think it's like that, but maybe quantum physics is what they're trying to figure out with time. Like maybe you have to be small enough to slip through time. Maybe time's like a net.
Do you know what virtual particles are?
Right? What if time's like a net? What's holding all of the molecules in this world? Even air is made up of molecules. Like I just like hit like, so that's all molecules right here. You know,
Yeah.
mass is molecules. There's air here. That's mass. So like, what if I could slip through what's holding this mass in place? Like a micron filter for pressing hash. What if I could slip through that
I think
and
that
pop out on the other side and look?
I think that what you're trying to explain is that like I guess we didn't define a word for it, but like that stepping outside of time, being able to consciously remove yourself from
Having an
that.
out of body
Interdimensional
experience,
travel.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What astro projection? Call it maybe.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what people who astro project are experiencing? They're
Yeah,
stepping outside
probably
of time?
on some sort of conceptual level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're yeah.
Interesting. So, does numerology come into this?
What did you just say?
Talk to me,
man.
Bryce.
I'm
Talk
not
to me
on this
about
one.
the numerology connection.
Oh man. I mean,
Because you told me there's certain numbers. Is it 3,
I was just gonna
3,
mention this
9?
with
Nine's one, right?
Yeah, 3, 6, and 9.
369. Thank you.
Um,
369.
They're just patterns that keep reoccurring throughout life. They manifest within life. I was going to mention this when we were talking about, well, what is time? Well,
patterns.
Normally things happen in threes within life, and like a triangle is like the first building block.
Yeah.
And that has three sides. Well, the first building block of our reality is normally we have math, the arts, and science.
Yep.
And those three things kind of make our reality. Those are three things. Well,
So
I was just going to say time could be one of those three things that hold up our reality, just like light and frequency.
Yeah.
Those things hold up our reality. And
arts, like you said, arts like music. Music's like the biggest frequency, you know? Like
it's
making sound and music, that's like a very big frequency. So it's like, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, damn, so everything usually happens in threes.
Yeah, there's different.
So
there's definitely different, like.
How do you like? How if you were like super into it, like if you were like, you know, studying this and trying to like really perfect this, how would you, in your opinion, like recognize these patterns and like like how would you go about being like, oh, or seeing these numbers, because it's about seeing the numbers too, like it's not just like
for sure
seeing the pattern of three. It's like, oh, there's a 3, there's a 6 and a 9 in this. Like,
so
you hear the stories of people hitting lottery numbers because they're like 369 stuff, you know, 333 Juice World, stuff like that, you know what I'm talking about?
definitely
It's not just a coincidence, you know.
Uh-huh.
It's not just a coincidence. 333, that's 369. You know?
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
no, I with the so this is gonna sound kind of nuts to probably.
bro, there's no
everybody
nuts
out
on the
there.
Beni Hour, man.
But to begin with,
There's
that
actually
is
2,
I
4,
taught
6,
myself
8 nuts here.
with one of the people say as above so below.
Yeah.
There's what we're experiencing above, and there's
True
a
statement.
spiritual realm that's below.
Yeah.
And things are things as we see them here are actually a mirror or a reflection of what they actually are in the other realm. So with this thinking, I go, maybe I should start teaching myself to read backwards and do numbers backwards, because numbers and patterns can actually go both ways. Well, from there, I started keeping a journal as well, and this is important because after you get through a whole year of your journal of just basic stuff, like just running down what you did that day. Something bothered you, write it down. Something irritates you, had a stressful time, something big happens, an accomplishment, you write that down. Mm-hmm. You come back the next year and you realize that our understanding of time, it doesn't really go day to day, meaning May 12th, 2000 is not continuing on May 13, 2000. It might, the progress you made on May 12th, 2000 may continue on May 12th, 2003.
Right.
You may have a series of events that are linked to those ones. Wow. You start to see like, holy shit, this time of the year, 3 years ago, these same things were happening. And this is because life spirals, and you view your life from this spiral just from different perspectives. So 3 years, 6 years, 9 years, you get a different degree of every perspective, and you're viewing the same general thing or pattern that's within your life, but from another perspective. And it almost gives you like this fishy, like, oh shit, like, did this happen before? Didn't I already do this? Or like,
for whatever reason, the first week of February and the first week of goddamn September, I've just been killing it in sales.
Yes, exactly.
I'm a car salesman. I've just been absolutely killing it in sales. Like, and you just notice that for the next 3 years, and you're like, why is the first week of February and the last week of September like my best sales ever, always?
Exactly.
Something like that. It's because it's like that timeline progresses on those technically days, but it's like you're just skipping all these yeah, right. So now going back, say if you can like step outside and actually, do you think being able to step outside that time construct of time, do you think you're being able to walk into certain days? If we're gonna call them days, we'll call them days.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? But you know, like that timeline that progresses, but we'll call them days. Can I walk into this day and be like, "Yep, this is the day." I can turn May 27th into February 2nd because I need this shit to happen on February 2nd. You know what I'm saying? But it's technically it's supposed to happen on May 27th, but in the real world, I'm like I stepped out and then I jumped in and brought it to this day. You know what I mean? Or
I believe if you stripped yourself completely naked of all the programming you were built up your whole life, you could make February 2 continue off on February 3. But it's because you have so much shit to work through in between that time where you're trying to figure out what's actually true, what you're actually realizing as reality, that finally you get to that couple years down the line and you're ready to move on. I think you'd really have to do some work be able to
almost brainwash yourself.
Basically,
essentially,
but
re-brainwash yourself. I guess you could call it. Yeah,
but you'd essentially see like meaning and symbols in every option you choose, and that would be leading you forward towards your goal. You'd almost feel nuts in a sense because of how clear-minded you are, if that makes sense.
So there's like the options. You have to kind of pay attention to the symbolism and the numbers and stuff.
Do you have
your options?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, producer. What's up?
Do you have
Poppy producer.
Do you have any like
It's Poppy.
indication as to like how you can clear your like I don't know what to call it, but
chakra, if you will.
Yeah, like clear everything out so you can grow or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's been my life. Like
that's trying to figure that out.
Yeah, that's my whole life.
I knew you'd like this one. I knew you'd like this one.
Good.
Been like it's been a whole. I said that I come from a family that's like a Hallmark family, but everyone has their shit, and it's been a life of healing for me, searching for healing, and I feel like connecting with people, being able to sit with them in their pain, is something special. Like it's. I think that completely lifting almost taking more responsibility than what you have to allows you to almost strip yourself of all that programming. Like, I don't know.
Kids, bro. The kids, bro. It makes you just go like, what the fuck? Like, I was literally programmed to go get all fucked up. I was programmed to party. I was programmed to not give a shit about anything. I really fucking care about some stuff right now. Like, I gotta figure this out, like, right? And it's almost like you really do start stripping yourself from, like, what they program you.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not
the
just
work.
the kids. You might have something different that motivates you to strip that program, but it's like, I feel that, dude, like.
So, I feel like I was going down some bad roads and bad shit for a while. And it took basically I changed my life around with a big macro dose of psilocybin mushroom. And do you think that might have a little bit of a key of how to wipe the slate clean?
Yeah, okay. So what I've got to say about that is, so when we get programmed, and let
me start with this. And remember that. The mushroom thing, right? How do we get programmed?
It's right when we're born, we have an imprinting period when we're young.
Yeah.
That we're literally just taking in information. We're like algorithms that are like, oh, how do I do things? Right. Let's mimic. Let's,
and basically an AI algorithm that's taught to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay. Yep.
Exactly. And we repeat
even more
things,
so rudimentary though.
What's that?
Like a very rudimentary AI algorithm because it's like we don't perfect things, you know. Okay, so my bad.
Yeah, it's imprinting is you. That's why it's like your parents don't know what the hell is going on. You probably have a lot of work to do because they didn't do the work for you. But yeah, it's mostly within that, like, I don't know, 4 to 16 years old. I don't know but
That's a good.
that's what I'd say.
I think with neuroplasticity, it ends around age 16. It
Yeah.
matures at or 15 or 16, I believe.
yeah, nice.
and then it really matures at like 21.
Unless you start taking lion's mane.
No, it stops.
feel like-
unless you're that just repairs. Yeah,
I feel like it hits at 16, and then 16 happens, right? And then like that's like basically where it stops, but it almost like hardens somehow by 21. Because like I felt, bro, I feel.
Yo, I wasn't fully
but then
mature
again-
until 25, dude.
But then again, maybe it's because I went through some shit. And I don't think I would have gotten it hardened by the time, if I didn't go through certain shit. So is it
to gray matter?
learning certain shit that makes you, I don't know. It wrote.
So back to the mushrooms. Do you
crazy.
think
Yeah,
that
mushrooms,
that's-
yep.
Do you think that that's like that might be one of the keys?
Yeah,
because
actually.
like it's in how many like old rituals they used to use it in their wine and stuff like for their-
Vikings, Egyptians.
So like there has to be something there, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like I was able to completely, dude. I completely changed overnight. Like I'm not shitting you. Like it was insane.
So I'll give the analogy like this. When you're programmed, your brain, it's so used to taking those same 4 pathways. And they're so etched in because you use them every day. Every day.
What 4 pathways?
Whatever it is to breathe, to, my mannerisms, my gestures.
You said
Your
4.
second natures.
You said 4 pathways.
Yeah,
I was
the
like, if
number's
there's a
not-
certain 4. It doesn't.
Number's
matter.
not relevant. I
Okay,
just
yep.
tossed one out
Okay,
there. Yeah.
yep, okay.
So you use the same old pathways that were programmed into you your whole life. Well, when you take mushrooms, what's happening is it's almost like you're revving the engine and sending like electric shocks and through all those other pathways that you've used them before, but you're not used to using
You're not
them.
familiar with them.
Yes. And they light up. They all start working, and you start realizing, whoa, like there's more options here. Like I don't have to pick to go to school every day at 6 o'clock. Like there's actually other options. It's like that where then your cells in your brain, they start to they like that feeling. They're like, oh, I like options. So what happens is they start
I'm not constricted anymore. Look at this.
I believe
Mushrooms
mushrooms is one of the things that stimulates regrowing brain cells. Or
Do you think that comes from the pineal gland?
I'm not sure.
That's DMT.
Like stimulating the pineal. Do you think like
Oh.
stimulating the pineal gland like helps like grow cells and like grow like memory, basically grow time almost?
Yeah,
I was gonna say while you're thinking about that,
Because cells would technically be time.
Another good analogy of like what mushrooms can do for you. I think Joe Rogan said it. He said basically it's like your brain is a bunch of ski slopes, and you've been going down the same paths every time. He said now a macro dose of psilocybin mushrooms can give you fresh powder, and you can create your new paths.
yeah, that's a good way of.
So
Yeah, that's a good way of
good
explaining.
little
it.
analogy. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you.
No, that's good shit, bro.
No,
Yeah.
you were saying the pineal gland.
I don't know, maybe what's the pineal gland? Do you think the pineal gland has anything to do? Because you hear that when you get into the conspiracies and all this stuff about the, MK Ultra and all this shit. You're like, pineal gland's all you hear. Do you think the pineal gland has anything to do with stepping outside that time and
Being able to, probably
technically being able to master time?
Yeah, I mean, mastered. Yeah, I mean, I think that.
Can you master time?
I think that. Yeah, I think you can. But going back to the pineal gland, I think exercising the pineal gland is only possible if you decalcify it or are working at decalcifying it.
Yeah, no shit.
And with that, we were
Fluoride.
talking about.
Stay off that fluoride toothpaste. Sorry, Juan. You were talking about.
We were talking about
fluoride.
Don't drink city.
seeing the symbols or like seeing meaning within everything. That's only possible if you've got that decalcified pineal
Yeah,
gland. You
right.
can only see that clearly yeah, without that decalcified. So yeah, I believe that does have some.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Filter your water.
If someone were to come up to you right now and say, Bryce, how do I give me a 5 to 10 step tutorial, simple, super simple, on how to escape this time realm I'm in? What would be the quickest way, a simple quick path for people to start with?
Simple quick path.
He's like,
There is no simple quick path.
He's like, I've dealt with years of this. What are you talking
dude.
about? Same, like, right,
Dude,
but like,
exactly, dude.
okay, better question. What would you tell them to start researching? What would you tell them to start looking into and shit like that?
I would say start researching ancient work, like the old stuff, and try
What
to
old
make
stuff?
So like just like start with the Egyptians and start with ancient civilizations.
Just research the culture.
Yeah.
Research the timeline.
Mm-hmm. And look for similarities, like how each civilization kind of did it similarly. And when you start to see these similarities, they pop up everywhere. They pop up in religion. They pop up in weed culture. They pop up everywhere. So once you start to train yourself into like realizing, oh, this is just this person's perspective. Like there's probably another story that is replicated, just personified in such a different way. Yeah.
Just start looking at history.
Yeah, start looking at history. That's where I began.
Would you tell them to look into like any like numerology research and stuff like that, or is it basically just look for 369?
Yeah,
Things happen because it's facts. Things happen in threes. That is just,
when people say, "Oh, 1111, make a wish," that's
Yeah.
you're already training yourself to look for things like that.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, numerology I'd say was one of the last things I learned because it's so intensive and there's many ways that people can construe and work the numbers that if you don't follow certain rules, it can be easy to be led astray.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's almost like dialects.
Right.
It's like if you're following, if you got to know which dialect you're following, or you could be receiving the completely wrong message.
Right. If you learn a language from a translator who's just trying to fuck with you, you're probably not gonna understand that language very well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, and you're like, what did you say? He's like, oh, he said fuck you, and you're like, motherfucker, what? Right? Fuck me? You fuck on me? You fuck on me? No, right? But damn, all right.
That's great.
Right though, I ain't wrong, right? But hey, damn, well, that was fucking awesome, dude. Hey, is there anything you want to plug before we get out of this bitch? Your Gov's Grass Menagerie. Check out the Grass Menagerie, bro.
Yeah, Gov's Grass Menagerie.
We about to be growing
Instagram.
some shit from them, bro. We about to be going crazy.
Seeds are popping. We got this summer. The breeding project is looking nice. I got a Nigerian landrace I'm hunting. It smells like fizzy Sprite. I'm gonna add it to the Remington Rot lineup. It's gonna be fun.
Wait, the Nigerian landrace?
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, it is.
Let's
It's supposed to be a 47 to 50 day finisher.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
So we'll figure it out.
Wow. hey, you let me know. No.
You know what that's named after, right? Nigerian landrace?
No,
There's actually an event called the Nigerian landrace every year that goes on in Nigeria where they go and actually hunt new strains of weed. That's another place
shit.
where genetics are actually fun. Look it up.
wild. I will.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'll verify.
Nigerian
I'll verify. I always verify if anything.
You got an Instagram you want to shout out or anything?
Yeah, Gov's Grass Menagerie. Gov's
Governor. The governor. He's the
Grass
governor.
Menagerie.
Say that again.
I'll
Sorry,
put it-
I
I'll
was
put it in
I was screaming in front of that. Say it again.
Gov's _grass _menagerie.
Make sure you spell that last one right, because I sure did the first time.
it's
I'll
menagerie.
I'll have Mick send whatever your socials are to me, and I'll throw them up on the pod. Put some links to it, and I'll just throw it up in the video too. thanks for coming, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What
Yeah,
a
bro.
crazy. We'll have to have you on again, man.
Yeah, dude.
I was about to
It
say
awesome.
this is to be continued because we got way more to get into. That was we scraped the surface, didn't we, Bryce?
We just
The
gave you
shit
the
we've
tip
talked
game.
about, the shit we've talked about, the shit I've researched since we've talked about this shit, bro. We have just scraped the surface, y'all. So I just want you all to know that, you all,
Y'all.
you have no idea what's in store for round 2 when my brother Bryce comes back.
Yeah, we'll beam all you up. We'll beam you all up.
I love it.
Oh, we'll beam you up, Scotty. Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up, Scotty. I'm out this motherfucker.